أكمل لكم الآن الجزء الثالث من محاضرتنا لهذا اليوم بعنوان Thesis Statement. Yes, we arrive at the part of thesis statements. Our written thesis statement should consist of two important components. The first thing is a narrow subject and a precise assertion. Here are two examples concerning thesis statements, two examples of thesis, our written thesis statements, which will be discussed in the following slides. In this example, which discusses the first example of thesis statement, we see two components. The first component is subject, a narrow subject, the decision of the Texans to defend the Alamo rather than abandon it. This precise subject is not sufficient for the thesis statements. It should be connected with what? With a precise assertion, which show the writer's point of view concerning the subject. So it is connected together. So the thesis statement, the decision of the Texan to defend the Alamo rather than abandon it, was foolhardy. What is important here is that this version of the thesis statement should be mentioned at the end of the introductory section of your thesis, as I told you previously. This version should be paraphrased or rewritten in another word at the conclusion section. So this is the second version of the thesis statement that should be mentioned at the conclusion paragraph. Okay, so what is important in this slide is that the thesis statement should be mentioned two times. The first time should be mentioned at the end of your introductory section of your paper, like this. Like this. And at the conclusion paragraph, you need to restate to write the thesis statements in other words. Why? In order to give the reader that you already finalized your paper. This is a discussion of the second example of the thesis statement. So this is a narrow subject, which is linked with the precise assertion. In this slide, I am going to present for you the main steps of writing a thesis statement, beginning from the first step, which is choosing a topic, narrowed it, then finally you have to write a thesis statement. So at the broad topic, we are going to write about online courses. Online courses consist of many categories. We need to select one category in order to write about and narrow our topic. So in this case, we are going to write about the effectiveness of online courses. Okay? Then you need to decide the issue of your paper. So the issue of your paper is the quality of online instruction versus traditional face-to-face. So you narrow the topic further when you write the issue. So the issue is making a comparison between the effectiveness of online instruction with face-to-face instruction. Then you have to form this issue in a form of research question, which is which type of course delivery is more effective, online or traditional. Then you need to write a hypothesis, which is traditional face-to-face courses are more effective than online courses. Finally, you need to write a thesis statement. Okay, so the thesis statements of this topic is traditional courses are more effective than online courses because face-to-face communication is more efficient and because students are more likely to be engaged in the learning process in a face-to-face learning community. Sorry. I have a homework for you. So the homework will be to analyze this thesis statements. I will post it in the Google Classroom later on. You have to analyze the thesis statements to identify its two components. Which part is a narrow topic? The second thing is which part is a precise assertion. Okay? Before going to finish this lecture, let me make a difference between two types of thesis statements. So here we need to discuss the difference between tentative thesis statements versus workable thesis statements. Tentative thesis statements means the first draft of the thesis statement, which is called thesis statements because it is liable to change or modification with the pass of the various stages of the writing process of our paper. When you move on your research paper, you can find important points that you feel that it is important to be included in the thesis statements. So in this case, you can change the thesis statements. Sometimes you find that some aspects of your research paper need to be deleted. Then you need to change the thesis statement by deleting the aspects of these topic deleting these aspects from your thesis statements. As compared with workable thesis statements, it is the final version of the thesis statements. So it is the last draft of your thesis statements. This is the main difference between tentative thesis statements and workable thesis statements. Thank you so much for your attention and hope you the best. Thank you very much again.